Hey, good morning, y'all. Nick here. Little makeup talk while I put on my makeup. Talk to you guys, and today I wanted to talk to you about the number one thing that is the secret to manifesting what you want in life. The number one thing that is a secret to manifesting what you want in life. We were having a conversation. I'm getting prepared to go to the airport. Hey, good morning. I finally go home today, and we had a really good conversation about manifesting, right? About manifesting the things that you desire, manifesting the things that you want, and being able to create your life, to paint a picture for your life, right? Whatever it is. If you want to manifest, a career path, if you want to manifest a relationship, if you want to manifest more money in your life, here's the secret to manifesting what you desire. And this is, this is what I've found across the board with all of my network who they're successful, accomplished, wealthy, and happy, right? You got those of us that will do whatever it takes to manifest things to the detriment of ourselves, right? And then you have those who actually choose the life that they desire, and they're able to manifest that life and actually live an abundant life. Because here's what I've learned over the years is that your life is a result of your decisions and your choices, right? And the secret to manifesting, y'all, here's the secret to manifesting, is visualization. It's the ability to see yourself where you want to be mentally first. It's the ability to have the vision of that life that you desire in your mind's eye before you actually, before it happens, right? Before it happens. We were talking about this yesterday. I'm still here with my client, and we're in her home, and we were talking about how she manifested this house. Now, she owns her home free and clear, paid for, beautiful home on a lake, pool in the backyard, pool, her dream cars are in the driveway, and she's been able to manifest a multi-millionaire lifestyle, right? But we talked about that. A lot of people think that this stuff is just random and it happens to random people. But we were talking about the things that she did over the years to manifest what she has in her life. And she said, one of the things that I've learned is the power of affirmations, declarations, and manifesting through writing out what it is that I desire, right? So she talked about how she had come to see this house one day just randomly, and it was a model home at the time. And although she didn't know if she could afford it or not, she actually walked through the home and told her husband, like, this is our house, right? She said she didn't know the price. She didn't know any of the logistics. She just knew she wanted this to be her home, right? And so she said that she came, and she said her husband kind of smirked and was like, all right, well, if we can figure out how we can pay for it, then yeah, it'll be your house. She said they were in a company at the time that they were hoping would be the ticket and the gateway to her, to afford it. But she said she came to see this house every day for 30 days. Every day they came to see this house. She said she would walk through it. She envisioned herself living here. She went through the process of visualizing that she lives here. And so let me tell y'all why that works. I talked a little bit yesterday about the difference between the spirit, the soul, and the body, all right? Your spirit, your soul, and your body. So your spirit is connected to God. Your spirit is the way in which you're able to get a direct communication and connection to God. And your spirit, when you get that direct connection to God, what happens is that God gives you vision, right? He shows you things. But then also you have the soul. And the soul is where your conscious and your subconscious is housed. It is the mental space and compartments in your brain that actually are processing the information that you receive, whether it's spiritually or whether it's physically. And here's what we know for sure. This is from neuroscientists. This is physiological, right? So I'm talking about the spirit meets the body. But scientists and just the industry as a whole, the physiological industry, people who talk about the body and how the body works, talks about the fact that your brain does not know the difference between what you imagine and what you vision mentally and what happens in your life in real life. Okay? And so when you get downloads from God, you get visions, and then you also start meditating and having visualization exercises, meaning you close your eyes and you act as if mentally you create a picture in your brain that everything that you desire to accomplish and experience in life is actually happening. Like, for example, I always knew I wanted to be a speaker. So I remember just envisioning myself on a stage in the biggest stadium that I could ever imagine. And it's me, a stage, a microphone, and a spotlight, and the big screens. And I would see myself on the screens, and I would see myself walking and pacing on the stage. And I would see this happening, like this started in college. And so, all of those things that I began to envision were planting in my brain a connection point as if it was already happening. It was as if it was manifested. And what happens is when you begin to visualize things, when you start having these visualization exercises, it is so important to visualize. I do it with my kids all the time. I make them draw pictures a lot of what they say they want, right? So if they tell me, Mommy, I want us to buy a house, I say, okay, what does the house look like? Tell me what is in the backyard. Do we have a trampoline? Is there a pool back there? Do we have a fence? Is it a black fence? Is it a white fence? Are there dogs in the backyard? Are they running around? What do the dogs look like? When you walk in the house, what does the house look like? What are the floors like? Do we have hardwood floors? Do we have marble floors? What do the kitchen look like? Is the kitchen white cabinets? How do we have pools on them? What color are the pools? What is on the countertops? What does our living room look like? I make my kids get so descriptive and I make them draw pictures. And the reason why is because when you imagine in your mind something, when you give yourself the freedom to visually go and begin to process and produce this image in your brain, your subconscious stores that as an actual memory file. Your brain cannot process what's real from what's not real. So what happens is this goes into a form of storage, which is like a form of programming that gets your brain to process this as if it's physically happening in your life. And what happens is now that the thing is processing in your brain, you're going to find that you'll start aligning things in your life where you will start attracting it. So let me show you how this works. How many of you have had a dream car that you wanted, right? And in your brain, you thought about that car. You thought about that car. You thought about that car. So let's say you wanted a red Range Rover. And over and over again in your brain, you processed yourself driving a red Range Rover, right? All of a sudden, what happens? You see a red Range Rover everywhere you go. Boom, there goes the red Range Rover. There goes the red Range Rover. You start seeing that thing everywhere that you go, and then it starts manifesting, right? You start manifesting that thing. Now, here's what has to happen when you process mentally what you want to happen and your physical process of actually manifesting it happening. You have to go and drive that car as a test drive, right? You have to go and find out, like, okay, what does it take to get this car? What is the car? Like, you start taking the action and the initiative, right, to start moving forward in that direction. So for example, you might say, I really want to buy a house. I want to be a homeowner. Now, your credit may not be where it needs to be. Your money may not be where it needs to be. And in your brain, you're saying to yourself, I don't know how this is going to happen. But what you have to do is you act as if it's already happening. It's happened. You have the house. Don't mean you go buy it yet without the resources, but you go to the model home and you walk through the model home. You identify, what does it take to purchase the house? You know, what is the actual mortgage? What does it look like? And don't discredit it. You know, just start saying, okay, let me now put myself in position to take the action to manifest this thing. So you go ahead and you start working on your credit. You go ahead and you start opening yourself up for opportunities to generate more income. You write down descriptively what this thing is, right? Because see, the thing is a lot of people think manifesting is like right now, right now. Manifesting is giving yourself permission to believe that it is possible for you. It doesn't mean you lack wisdom and make decisions spontaneously to force something to happen. It simply means that you're giving yourself permission to say, I will own this home one day. I don't like to say one day. Thank you, God. I am so grateful that I'm walking into my beautiful home where our white marble floors, our white kitchen, our white cabinets, God. I thank you that I have the housekeepers are in the house, getting the house in order. The kids are upstairs in the theater room with their friends, watching their favorite movies. You know, the pool is in the backyard with blah, blah, blah. You begin to profess and declare those things over your life visually over and over and over again. Because here's the thing that I've learned, guys. You know, we never know the how. It's not up to us to know the how. It's just for us to know the what and the why, right? And what happens is you get so ingrained in your why and you get to see what it is visually so much that the how has to happen. It begins to appear in your life. And I say this, you know, from a standpoint of just even in my life, like I have always, as a kid, I always had a big imagination and dream of what was possible. And I never had any hesitation that it couldn't happen. It was just like, I don't know how it's going to happen, but I got this visualization that it's going to happen, right? I remember watching Robin Givens in Boomerang in her suits back in the day. I don't know if y'all remember that, but she was in these suits back in the day when she in Boomerang, and I was like, oh my God, I want to look like Robin Givens when I grow up. I want to be able to wear suits, and I want to be a businesswoman, and I want to own, you know, I want to run a corporation, and I want to, you know, I had all these visuals. I had a couple of examples in my life in our family of people who had, you know, business buildings, and I would be able to go work with them. I was 13, and this lady, she was actually a CPA. She was like Snoop Dogg CPA. She worked with a lot of rap artists, a lot of celebrities, a lot of people in the music industry, and she was really good friends with my mom, and she drove her red Benz, and she would come to the house. Her name was Miss Linda. I love Miss Linda. Miss Linda loved me because I would always ask her a gazillion questions about, you know, what is it like to work with celebrities? And she would come over in her suits, and she would have, you know, she just had it going on. She was just a bad sister, right? And I was like, oh, I want to be like Miss Linda when I grow up, and I want to own my own company. And she had this beautiful corporate building over in West LA by this mall that we love to shop at. And I was like, oh my gosh, she got her own office and she got her own business. You know, I would see all these things, and I was like, I want to be a businesswoman when I grew up. I didn't know what that looked like. I thought I would go on and be an attorney. I thought that, you know, I didn't know how it was going to work. I didn't even know if I could go to college. I didn't know if I was smart enough. I didn't care. I was like, I just know I want to be like Miss Linda. And Robin Givens in Boomerang. And surely enough, you know, my life opened up doors for things to happen for me to start getting in that position of wearing suits. You know, I remember working for the temp agencies, and they called me to work at different studios in LA. I would be at CBS. I would be at Paramount Studios. I would be, you know, at all the studios, and I would get a chance to, like, go see what life is like, for celebrities. I would meet different celebrities that would come on the set and all these different things. I didn't know where that was leading, and I never cared. I was just like, I want this life, right? Like, I want to be successful. I want to be a successful black, sharp woman in my suits. And I want to be able to experience these things. And what happens is your path begins to form in your subconscious. You begin to attract things because you have created this imagery in your mind that opens up doors for you to start now connecting with this life. And it all boils down to your belief and your visualization exercises. People think this stuff is hocus pocus, but you go ahead and you keep rehearsing negative things over and over again. That's why if you have fears, you have to be very careful not to rehearse your fears over and over again. People be scared to ride planes because they're worried about something happening, or they scared to do this, or they scared to do that. The more you rehearse what you have fears over, the more you attract them in your life. How many people do you know that was so afraid, deathly afraid of something, and they didn't want it to happen, but it happened because you meditated on it over and over and over again. You processed it, right? It's the same thing with relationships. You get in a relationship and you might say, well, I've been cheated on before and I'm scared he gonna cheat on me. I don't want him to cheat on me, but what if he cheat on me? What if he cheat on me? What if he cheat on me? Guess what? You keep rehearsing that, and something will come to your door to make you have this experience that person has cheated on you. Like, you have to be very careful what you meditate on. The things that you meditate on day and night is what manifests in your life. And so I have to tell my kids all the time, though, the difference between really actually being able to manifest and not manifesting is believing, consistently, and then positioning yourself to do the things that are necessary, that will position you for that, right? It's like getting prepared, preparation. Because people feel like, oh, I'm just going to dream it and I'm going to believe it and it's going to happen. No, boo, if your credit is still a 400 and you're trying to buy a house and you're not proactive in getting your credit together, you may not qualify. I want to believe in miracles, but I also believe in practical preparation to support the manifestation that you desire. So not only do you visualize something, but you actually start putting yourself in position to do those things. So for me, for example, when it comes down to business, I have a big vision for some things that I'm doing. I'm not going to go into too much detail about it. I have a big vision, but one of the things that I knew I wanted to do in the meantime while I'm prepping for it is I wanted to be able to stay focused. I didn't want to be chasing money. I didn't want to be doing this and doing that. I wanted to really be able to have time to invest in what I wanted to do. And then I also wanted to be able to have the resources, right? The financial resources. And so I had a vision. I was like, you know what? I know a lot of people who are super successful who can use my skills and services, and I want to work with a limited amount of clients and make a hell of a lot of money, right? A limited amount of clients, make a hell of a lot of money for my skill set. I know my skill set. I know what I'm good at, and I don't want to have to be slaving over, over hustling. Because here's what I've learned over the years. You can make money 1,000,001 ways. It's just a matter of how you make it and how much time you want to spend making it. And I was like, I'm not about to be running around here, hustling, grinding, and killing myself for, a couple of bucks and doing 20 different side hustles to make the money. No, I'm smart. I'm brilliant. I'm amazing at what I do. I'm going to put myself in a position to be available to support others. And I'm going to work with high ticket clients and help them with their businesses, right? Here's the thing. Everybody's out here talking about what you have to have. You got to have this, you got to have that. You got to do this, you got to do that, blah, 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 blah. And I agree. There are things that you want to do to build your business. But for me, I realized that it's about relationships, right? So I was intentional about reaching out to people and saying, hey, I'm doing this now. Do you need my help or my services, right? It didn't take for me to build a brand. It didn't take for me to go out here and have to build my following on Instagram to 2 million people so I could be able to do that. It was simply me being intentional. And then guess what? The minute that I became intentional about that, y'all, my phone be blowing up from people like, yo, Nick, I've been wanting to work on this. Do you do this? I thought about you. You came across my mind when I wanted to make this happen. Can you help me? And it's like, yeah, I can help you, right? All of a sudden, I attracted all the clients the specific type of clients that I wanted to work with. And it's crazy how, I get so much business, and guys, nobody really knows what I do. I tell people all the time, it's like, and I'm not saying that in a boastful way, but what I do is really, I can market it publicly and, attract people, but I don't want to say most, but I have a select audience who can afford what I do, right? And I don't necessarily want to go mainstream and attract a gazillion clients, because that's just not my goal. I have other things that I'm working on. But when I set that decision of, okay, I'm gonna do X, Y, and Z, I'm gonna attract this type of client, all of a sudden my phone started ringing, right? People just start reaching out. And so it's a matter of really knowing what you want and then being very clear, about what that looks like. Because now that I have made that declaration of how I want it to work and what I wanted that to look like, it's like all the pieces are coming together. I remember praying for my team. I want this kind of person, that kind of person. I really wanted somebody to replace me in my tech side of things. I was like, I don't want to have to worry about tech anymore. And then I opened up my Facebook page, and this young lady that I follow, we didn't really know each other, but she was like, let me introduce you to the people who do the stuff for my business. And she had a CTO on there, a chief tech officer. And I was like, bet, I'm reaching out to her right now because I need a CTO. And surely enough, that's my CTO. I was hitting up at 2 o'clock this morning, like just leaving a list of things that I need done when she woke up this morning to get stuff done, right? So it all boils down to being intentional, y'all. You just have to you have to really visualize what you want, and understand that the difference is not it happening immediately, right? Because sometimes you will be in the worst situations and circumstances, and you're having to visualize your way through it. I've been there where I had nothing on food stamps, broke, bankrupt, very limited resources, but I was like, this has to happen. I don't know how it's gonna happen, but it has to happen. And that's actually how I discovered internet marketing. I was broke, bankrupt, foreclosed, repoed, pregnant, on welfare, homeless, living in somebody's house because we had lost everything in the recession. And I was super successful in real estate, but I lost everything, right? And so I had to start from scratch. And I was like, well, shoot, if I did it once, I could do it again. I don't know what it's going to be that's going to help me to get back on top like I was in real estate, but it got to come because I need to make the kind of money I was making in real estate. I can't go get no $8 an hour job. I was used to getting, $5, $7, $8, $10,000 checks per transaction. So I was like, I can't just I can't revert because the industry closes doors, like because there's a recession. I need to manifest something that's going to pay me that same kind of money. And so I started going online, how to make money from home, blah, 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 typing in different things. And all these pop-up ads started popping up. This was back in 2007, 2008. And it was like, want to make more money, want to do this, all these promos. Where most people would think something is a scam, I looked at it as an opportunity. I was like, heck yeah, all these pop-ups. I was enjoying the pop-ups because it was leading me down the yellow brick road to my destination. And so I started pressing all these buttons, and it led me to key people that I ended up connecting with, that would end up teaching me how to successfully build businesses from home, how to get online, how to work on the internet. I had no money, right? I was broke as a joke. All these different things cost money, right? So it was like, oh, you got to buy this ebook, you got to buy this webinar, you got to, whatever it was at the time. But when I tell you I had no money, like every bank account was shut down because it was in the red, negative, nothing available. Like I probably couldn't open up a bank account at that time. But what did I do? Get resourceful. I called my daddy. I was like, Dad, I found a way to get myself out of this hole. Can you sponsor me and help me buy the things that I need to buy so that I can learn this thing called internet marketing, and I promise I'll pay you back, right? And so my dad was like, yeah, here's my credit card. You can use my credit card and go ahead and get what you need. And so what I did, I had learned about affiliate marketing, and I was like, all right, Dad, so here's what I'm gonna do. There's this thing that you can promote other people's products and you get paid for it. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna promote these products, but I'm gonna put your name on it and you're gonna get the checks. And my dad was like, I don't care, right? So surely enough, I put my dad's name on a couple of these affiliate offers so he can get paid paid, I would promote him. And my dad started getting $1,000 a month checks as a return on his investment while I was learning the skill. I was like, you can make the money right now so I can pay you back. I want to learn the skill. And surely enough, y'all, you know, that was 2007. Had my baby Chloe in 2008. I joined the network marketing company in 2009. By the end of 2009, I had made 6 figures online from my couch in 6 months, applying the things that I had spent all that time learning that my dad paid for with his credit cards. So, you know, I've been in that situation where you are like, your life is falling apart and you gotta believe, and you know, you gotta believe that this thing can manifest and it can be possible. And it was just like, when it's making a decision. When you decide, I tell people all the time, when you make a decision, you cut off every other option, right? It's like, this is all I see. This has to happen. I don't care if the walls are falling down around me. If I see that big light at the end of the tunnel and I know that's my destination, that's the only option. Like, the walls can cave down, the buildings can crash, the sky can fall. I'm still going forward because I've decided. I've cut off every other option. When you look at the word decide, DE means to cut off, side means to kill off. That's why it's suicide, homicide, right? It's killing off. So when I decide, I done cut off every other option that this gotta happen. And I'm visualizing it in my head. I don't know all the details and it ain't up to me to figure it out. All I know is I see it, it gotta happen, and I'm moving towards that direction by any means necessary. So my physical activity is moving in the direction of that, meaning that I am in preparation for that thing to manifest. I am positioning myself. That's why that quote says, when preparation meets opportunity, great things happen. Meaning that you act as if it's already manifested. You do the things that are necessary so that when the opportunity presents itself, you are prepared. So if I knew I wanted to be a speaker, which I did, I would go to Toastmasters. I would join the speakers associations. I would go and do voluntary things that would allow me to use my voice. I would go do radio shows and I would go do, you know, whatever I could to begin to rehearse as if I'm already a speaker and I'm already this author and I'm already these things. These are the visions that I had many, many years ago. I was 19, 20, 21 years old. I didn't know how this stuff was going to work. I was working as a waitress at Red Lobster when I decided to be a speaker, right? And was a really good waitress. But guess what? When I would wait tables, I would handle people as if I was already this superstar speaker. Hey, how you doing? Great, Nicole here. I'm here to serve you today. Is there anything that I could do? It was like I was charismatic. I was engaged as a waitress. I made sure that everybody loved me by the time they left the table, right? It was like everything that I did was rehearsing and acting as if the very thing that I decided to have was already going to happen. So when you start doing those things and you start preparing and positioning yourself to manifest, like you start doing the things that are going to get you closer to where you want to be, you're rehearsing, you're acting, then what happens is you start attracting nothing but those opportunities in your life. And then you'll begin to wake up one morning and be like, yo, I'm living the life that I always envisioned I would. Of course, because in your brain processed it as your real life, and you positioned yourself, you prepare, because remember, it's all good to visualize, but you also need to get prepared. And by making those two things work hand in hand harmoniously, regardless of what's happening, y'all, the bill collectors could be calling, you know, the bank account could be in a negative, all these things can happen. And I'm not saying neglect your reality. I'm saying commit to your vision. And so when you commit to your vision, what happens is you open yourself up to see the opportunity and not the hardship. And that's the issue. Most people get lost in the hardship. And I have to tell my kids all the time, because my kids have seen us go sky high. My kids are used to coming out on stage, my nanny bringing the kids on stage with 5,000 people in the audience, and I'm introducing my family while I'm doing a speaking event. We traveling all over the country, drivers picking us up, and, you know, we backstage in the green room and VIP, and we getting all this treatment to having to sell everything and having to move in with my mother-in-law and then getting sick and then having our life start going downhill, right? And because mama is not who she was. They see me in my weakest points, but then I had to explain to them how God works, that God is still going to put us back, but mommy had to take off for a season. And these are things that we're just in right now to get us prepared for the next step for the transition, right? And so there are things that may not appear to be in alignment with what you desire, but it is up to you to create the imagination and the visualization of that life so that you can always keep it in the forefront of you to know that it has to happen, and I'm going to continue to do the things that are necessary to prepare myself to manifest those things in my life. And so that's how you manifest the things you desire. All right, so I gotta go catch my flight. Hope y'all enjoy that this morning, guys. Y'all can go ahead and join my waiting list. I'm gonna be sending out a free affirmation guide over the weekend, where you can begin to rehearse things over and over again. Go to thelifepurposeschool.com to sign up for it. It is coming this weekend. So we will be sending that out to those that are on that list. So make sure you join our list, thelifepurposeschool.com. And Nicole Cooper here. I got to get out of here so I can catch my flight. Y'all have a great and awesome weekend. Bye.